Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. As long as it's all good, we want to welcome you to The House That Happened, sponsored by Schuey's Bar and Grill. The only place to be in suburban Etobicoke, voted 4 times the best dive bar in the GTA. We kind of believe it's probably the best dive bar in Ontario because when we're here, we keep the vibe alive. Hi, my name is Cruz.
And I'm Andrew Milani.
And we're here to talk about the insidious, iconic, and insane things that happen in this wonderful world we call sports. How you doing, buddy?
Good, Cruz. How about yourself?
Not too bad. It's been a crazy week. I think that not only is our government going to collapse by the end of the year, we should talk about what collapsed starting Thursday in this version of March Madness.
Oh, boy. Upsets basically right away.
Oh, first of all, I'm going to talk about, I don't know if we got a chance that I'm really believing that Marquette's going to win it all. But one of the
whole
things,
thing.
I'm still saying Marquette's going to win it all. It's a coach thing for me, which just blew up in my face because a couple of coaches I bet on, like Buzz at Texas A&M, he got knocked out early. But what we should be talking about is the major collapse by the Purdue Boilermakers to a school I can't even pronounce.
This is one that you kind of called a little bit back, calling Purdue fraudulent, I believe, a couple weeks ago.
Yes, I did. I said, you know what, and this is what people are going to look at it. I'm a huge March Madness guy. As soon as I leave today, I'll be going home and parking myself and watching basketball for the rest of the day. But there's one little thing that comes up a lot about is your guard play. Your guard play and tournament, if you don't have good guard play, you're going home. And I said this going back, even though they won the Big Ten tournament, I thought Purdue was very fraudulent on the back end, and it could get them. And if you take Fairleigh Dickinson here, they had a couple seniors, junior and senior guard play, and they've been together 2 or 3 years. And the Purdue guys were freshmen.
There you go. That's the problem.
And they're right there, and it went off. So they went out, and I don't feel sorry for Purdue. Everyone knows I'm a Big Ten guy, by the way. I'm a
Michigan.
I'm
That's
a
your
Michigan
team?
guy. That's my team. They didn't make it, but I want to yell out to Mr. Izzo and the things that they happened this week because Michigan State won their first game, and I believe they could win one more. Don't be surprised if the University of Michigan goes to the Sweet 16. I'm not going to say 100% they're going to.
Well, they're playing Marquette next, so
they could, but I'm saying Marquette's going to win it all. But if they upset Marquette is what I'm going to get at. Expect a long run for them, but I'm not. I'm going to stick to my guns. I'm going to Shockey. You know who Shockey is. Shockey's got hair this year, by the way. Shockey's a coach at Marquette, and he's now had his third team that he's got to the tournament. Like, there's only so many coaches that have brought different teams to. Like Rick Pitino of Iona, he's had 5.
Oh, yeah.
He went 5 teams, but as Pitino knows, he got bounced out of Louisville for a bunch of irregular nonsense in the back door. But he's at Iona now, and everyone says that he's put his time as at Iona. He's going to get back to a bigger school, and hopefully he can get the dance farther. But it's interesting when you're a great coach, what coaching has done. Is there any teams that you've liked in the tournament so far?
I mean, there's whatever, like some of the teams I found interesting, like where are we here? One sec. The Indiana game I thought was pretty interesting last night.
Oh, I thought it was good too, and I hate them too. Another Big Ten team I hate. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-oh.
But they, you know what it is? Indiana could make a run too. People are going to say they have good guard play. You know what was the final on that score anyway? They put.
Oh, they pulled away at the end.
At
it
the
was
end,
71-60.
Yeah, and
Kent State gave it a good run though.
Yeah, well, I'm looking at it this way. For the tournament, for me, I'm still saying Alabama is going to be there. They destroyed. They look comfortable. I think it's interesting that Miller, the guy that was involved in the homicide situation, this guy's getting bolder by the second. We did discuss the pat down, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Okay, so this guy's coming out. They're walking out like when they came out the other night, or they started the game. When they came out like they were looking like say the movies, like if you went to see like Lost in New York. Like Kurt Russell, and when he'd get his
Escape from New York.
Escape from New York, yeah.
Lost from New York. It's not Home Alone.
Okay, yeah. But in any event, you know what I'm saying? How guys come out in the movie and they always make them when they're coming out, they look like a bunch of badasses.
Yeah.
That's what Alabama comes on the floor for. And I'm saying that Alabama's may go to the final. And this guy he's got brass balls, and he's going to be a top 5 pick. He will be a top 5 pick just because all the pressure that he has on him and the crowd chirping him, and he's acting like no big deal. Like you're going out there. The question is, do you think he should be playing?
Yeah, that's the question. I mean, whatever. Like,
I'm not worried about him playing because, first of all, he didn't technically, law of the land, he hasn't been charged with anything. There's a text. There's a text that says something. So do we take away the guy's career on a one-sentence text?
I mean, the big thing is, like, what if this does end up like blowing up in a team's face, right? Like he's not going to go top 5 because of that.
No, well, that's what I'm saying. So maybe he'll fall down to the Raptors. We'll take him. You know what
Could.
I'm saying? I'm not saying, like, people are going to say, Cruz, you're always looking for that backdoor look. I'm saying no. What happens in professional sports, if you got a guy that can make your team win, eventually someone's going to jump, right?
Yeah, go for him.
So why should you wait? If you be a team, like, you're going to be the goody-goody place and say, we can't touch him because? No, man, I'm the guy who's going, come on here. Make sure you don't bring your gun.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm right now, I'm really liking Marquette. I'm really thinking I took UConn to go to the Final Four. A lot of people said I was nuts. They played solid yesterday in the second half against the aforementioned Rick Pitino in Iona. And so they're going to go on, and I think their draw is favorable. Now that Arizona got knocked out, another fraudulent team.
They're in different brackets.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So the brackets are a little bit more wide open. They went, and the good old Virginia. And everyone knows what I think about Virginia and all them schools. I'm not going to say it because I'm going to be nice on the air now. But they all went out the door, and I didn't lose a minute of sleep. Like, I'm just saying there's no way I didn't see Virginia going anywhere. I don't know who does the rankings. My biggest disappointment so far is Memphis losing to Florida Atlantic last night. Mm-hmm. I could not believe it. I said, come on, guys. I really thought that they had the opportunity to be a sleeper team in the tournament. My 2 sleeper teams, to tell you honestly, were Texas A&M and Memphis. And guess what?
Yeah, both gone in the first round.
Both gone in the first round, and I don't understand why. I'm wondering, and I haven't given them any love, is another team, is because they won 2 years ago, is Baylor. Is Baylor going to make a run in this tournament?
Let's see.
I'm not sure if they're going to make a run.
They're playing Creighton next.
Yeah. And
if they win that, then they play the winner of Missouri-Princeton. So, I mean, it's possible for them to go into the Elite Eight.
Very much, but I'm saying Creighton is a team. In my opinion, I think Creighton is there. They're McDermott, old man McDermott, his kid played the NBA, coached him. The team looked solid. They were good. They had a nice run early in the season, and then around the January, February, they lost a few games they shouldn't. That's why their ranking is a little bit lower. Mm-hmm. I thought they were going to be seated higher, but Creighton's a good. It's one of those things about good coaching and guard play, and Creighton's got both. So I'm saying, and Baylor's a bigger school, but I'm not going to be surprised. It's going to be either Creighton or Baylor that's going to go to the Elite Eight. That's what I'm saying. But I'm kind of leaning on Creighton this time because I think because of their experience, everyone's saying, oh, but the Baylor guys, they got 3 guys that played national championship team. So what?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're another team. I think they're a little fraudulent for their ranking and stuff, even though a lot of people say that's the toughest division in basketball this year was the Big 12.
Big 12?
Big 12. Oh, yeah. And all the teams are still there. Kansas is still kicking around. Kansas State, they're another sleeper, I think, that's going to make a run. Like, if we're here next week when we start the podcast and we're talking about who's going to be there, I wouldn't be surprised if Kansas State gets there. Their road's a little bit tougher.
Yeah, because they're in the same side of the bracket as Marquette.
Exactly. So I think that they could end up playing, if they end up playing, like, they would have to play Marquette in the
Sweet 16.
It's a Sweet 16, so then they both should win because they both play today. But like we're saying, the way the upset situation is going to go, we're not sure what's going to happen. But I'll tell you this with my history of watching the games. There was so many crazy upsets in the first 2 days that the tournament settles now. Yep. It's like when they say move day on golf. Mm-hmm. This is move day. So I'm just saying that although solid, when we get down to the Sweet 16, I'm expecting everybody that's playing today, I'm expecting more favorites to win. If you're going to go make bets, don't play me, but I think Chalk's going to take it today. That's what I'm saying. No 12 beat a 5 this year, did they? That's the always seems to be a 12.
Yeah, all the 5s made it through.
All the 5s made it through. But why one prediction was I would say 2 or 3 13s or 14s would go through what they have. But if anyone said they predicted a 1 was going to beat 16 was going to beat a 1, you're crazy.
No way.
Crazy.
And a 15 being a 2 in the same year.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't. It was Arizona last year, and I had no love for Arizona.
But come on, like to Princeton.
Here's what happens though. The Ivy League guys are smart.
That's true.
Okay, so every time I see Princeton in the tournament, and this isn't the first time they've been a number 2, and they they were a 2 and beat a 15, right? This isn't the first time Princeton's done this. They did it a few years ago. Because what happens in my theory on this is, you go to Princeton, right? You're going to play 4 years. So when I looked at the Princeton lineup, 4 of their starters are seniors.
Yeah.
You got seniors and senior guard play. You are going to make a run, whether you're in an Ivy League school or not. You know what I'm saying? Another sleeper I want to shout out to, and their coach, what's his name? I'll get to you at the end of the show. Don't be surprised if Miami makes more noise. You heard it here first. I'm sticking to my Final Four, which I've called is UConn, Texas, Alabama, and Marquette. And they're all playing this final, so I'm looking pretty good, so to speak. However, my brackets are a little busted with Memphis going out the door.
Do you think Miami beats Indiana tomorrow?
100%.
100%.
100%. Yeah, I think Indiana's
Cruz's lock of the week.
Lock of the week. Because I'm saying it's another thing. Is like if you watch the whole season, Miami was a team that was a sexy pick back when they started conference play. They had a couple minor injuries, lost a few games they shouldn't, but they've righted the ship. And they're on their way. So I'm saying that they don't sleep on Miami. I think Indiana's overrated. I was surprised they won the first game. I thought they might have been knocked out in the first round. But they weren't, so I'll give it to them. Because the Big Ten is actually, believe it or not, this is supposed to be a down year in the Big Ten, but actually Michigan State, Northwestern, Indiana, and have all moved on, haven't they?
They have.
They all moved on. The only one that didn't go on, and I thought they were another fraud too, is Iowa from the Big Ten. And can I make one little point here? There's a school out there, Iowa State.
Oh, I want to get to that next.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Did you see what happened to those guys? And this happens every year in the tournament to one team, but it seems to be happening to Iowa State a lot. They're a very good basketball team that went home. And part of the reason went home, if you start shooting cold, they were down 18-2.
I was following the game at work. I couldn't believe it.
18-2. Guys couldn't make a shot. But here's what happened. They raced all the way back to get within 4, ran out of gas, and got blown out of the water. And that's
a team that had to win in a play-in game in the first 4.
Win a playoff game. But you know what? Here's another scary team. Every time a team that wins a playoff, one of those play-in teams always seems to win a game when they get in. And don't be surprised if they win another one, but I don't think so. You know what I mean? That's Arizona State.
Pitt, I wouldn't be Pitt. They're playing Xavier next. That's a team that's like, I don't know. Xavier is like not.
Well, we've got them to tell
I
you.
don't think.
I'm thinking that, on some experts are calling them a Final Four team.
Really?
Yes, they
even in the same bracket as Texas and Houston.
That's right. Because you know what? They're a scrappy team with senior guards. Another team that's pretty solid. In any event, I'm going to stick to my. I seen your 4. You had Alabama in your Final Four.
Yes, I do.
You got UCLA too, right?
I have UCLA.
Oh, I don't know, but they're another so-called sexy pick, but it should come down to them because nobody's talking about Jamie Dixon, who went back to his alma mater, Texas Christian, TCU, and TCU's already won. And I
caught the end of that game last night too against Arizona State.
Against Arizona, who had to play a play-in game to get in, and I was scared of them. But I'm saying I had them in Texas A&M on my bracket. I didn't know who to go with, so I picked TCU. I'm very disappointed in Buzz and the A&M team from the Big 12. I thought they were going to make way more noise, and it just didn't happen. In any event, we just want to say Purdue. My heart bleeds purple piss for you, okay? I will not feel sorry for any of these schools punching out your wall in your dressing room and everything that goes on. This is the beauty of March Madness, people that are listening. It's why I've been watching this thing for about 50 years, because you only get one chance. Mm-hmm. It's only no tomorrow. We're not going to sit around and say, what about best of 3? Either you shit or get off the pot. Congratulations to Fairleigh Dickinson, though. For winning, we've got to give them credit. This is, I think, their first win. Their first win in
in the tournament.
In the tournament, like they're 0 and whatever. They always get in because they're from that conference. There's only one. All those conferences.
Yeah, like the 12 through 16 seeds, they're winners of like the
Summit
mid-conference
League,
yeah.
And the Sun Belt League, and all of those. But they only get
Big
one.
West.
They only get one pick per. Like, you win, you go. Nobody's getting invited because of quality you're there. And there's another weird rule, too. There's a team called Merrimack that didn't get in. You know that teams are trying to get in? Like, Kanisa gave a team a run there, too. If you get in there, you're not allowed into the tournament for the first 5 years.
Once you get into D1?
If you get to D1, so a couple teams, this is the second time it's happened where teams have won their conference, but they don't get to play because they got to wait. I don't understand.
That's not fair.
Isn't it really?
I don't get. That's weird NCAA rules. Yeah. I mean, can they get into NIT at least? Or?
Oh, yeah, I think they can get invited to NIT, but they're not allowed in the big dance.
That's weird.
Isn't it? And other people are saying they should wait 2 years. But what's happening is, like, especially a school like Merrimack, they've got some money, and they went to the portal. So they just stole a bunch of guys, got a team, and going, and we won the division. So people are saying they're like, you got to earn your stripes, so to
Right.
speak. There's no earning your stripes in college anymore. The door is open. Once that portal was there, when everyone down that rabbit hole, and look what's happening. You know what I mean?
It seems like a bit of an outdated rule.
Well, what we're going to see anyway, because what players are going to move. What team was it? I forget now. The coach went there, took 4 players from Cleveland State. I didn't even know Cleveland State had a decent team, and he moved them onto his team, and now they've won a game. I'll figure it out. It might even have been Miami, but I don't think so. I think it could have been Indiana or one of those teams. In any event, if you want to enjoy some good sports that are very good, everyone, go tune into March Madness. There's going to be 8 games on today. I'm sure 3 or 4 of these games are going to be highly entertaining.
I hope so, too. So, yeah, my Final Four, the other one, Marquette, we didn't mention. Alabama, Houston, Marquette, UCLA. That's my Final Four.
Well, that's good. I'm glad
2
you
ones,
took
2
Marquette.
twos.
So the house that happens is gambling on Marquette and Shaka. So if you're listening, Shaka, get us there. Take us to the promised land. We want some money, if you know what I mean. But speaking of money, we'll have to switch to what goes on in this great city called, in the our GTA, the Toronto Maple Leafs. Are they righting the ship, Mr. Milani?
I mean, my thing about them is they look way better in front of Samsonov. In front of Murray, they look noticeably less confident.
Why?
Well, I mean, just look at the numbers.
Okay, and they just flashed it up there. Do you see Samsonov's numbers at home are off the charts? He's what?
Unbelievable.
18-2 or something? 18-2-2? I don't know.
Whatever it is.
He's just got unbelievable numbers at home. Here's what I've noticed about the Toronto Maple Leafs. I don't think they've meshed yet after all these trades. And one of my things says I think they made too many. That was my call. They're
starting to come together, though. And don't forget that they're still without their biggest trade deadline pickup in Ryan O'Reilly.
Okay, well,
but I think they're saying like he's close to coming back.
I'm of the belief if they had just traded for Riley and picked up a defenseman and did nothing else, they would have been fine. Because I think it did screw up the chemistry of the team for beginning. But they've still got, 15 games to go?
Yeah, they got 15 games to figure it out.
I think they're going to figure it out. So I'm going to say this. The Colorado game the other night was amazing.
Except for the shootout.
Well, yeah, but
that was one of the worst shootouts I've ever seen.
Okay, I wish they could get rid of the shootout. Can we have a 10 minutes overtime? Like the shootout thing, I think
it would be a tough one for the players to agree to.
Why?
Because they don't want to play anymore. It's like we played. That's what it's about. That's why.
100%. I know that. So we're going to get back to my other big beef from other generations. Better equipment. Better. You know where I'm going with this, right?
They also have better guys representing them, so
there you go, the whole 9 yards, and then all of a sudden
everything's better.
And then they go, but we don't want to play. That's what drives me nuts. And meanwhile, the price of those tickets are going to keep going up.
Oh, sure, that's not going to.
Okay, so now what I'm saying is that, I think there's got to be a breaking point somewhere here. I don't know on what sport and where and why, but something's got to really shake on this. But because they don't want to play, and everyone goes, we don't want a shootout. Oh, we don't want this, we don't want that. Well, who gets a break here?
Well, I think the shootout, that's more of the fans. That's whatever, definitely like the fans' perspective. But like every time Gary Bettman brings up, he always says like, "Oh, the fans love it." So he obviously doesn't think it's an issue.
Listen, I don't trust.
I've never heard the players complain about it.
No, I haven't either.
There you go then.
Okay, I always think it's this. This is what I hear too. Okay, it's like, how do we get to the airport after the game? Do I get home in time to catch last call and meet my girlfriend?
Yeah, there you
go.
go.
If you're going from Toronto to Columbus, if the game's over, we get to the airport, I can get last call when I get home or whatever. That sounds kind of ridiculous, but players have that kind of stuff, sleeping in their own bed, all that kind of nonsense.
Creatures of habit.
You got it. So what I'm saying is that if everything's catered for you now, why can't you give us 5 more minutes, a 10-minute overtime instead of a 5? And you know what? Go down to 3 players if you have to.
Well, they're already. You mean down to 2?
No, that would just be.
That'd be way too much open ice.
Yeah, that's the 3. But I'm saying, why don't they go 3 and go 10 minutes? You're going to get a goal in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're going to I think that they should, if they did it in the minors.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Go down to the AHL and say from now on, because those guys aren't going to have any say. They're happy to be in the AHL.
You know what, though? My brother brought up an interesting point about overtime. How even the overtime, the 3-on-3 is getting a little boring in some ways because it's being overcoached, right? Where guys are kind of retreating into their own zone. My brother suggested an interesting thing about basically preventing once it's 3-on-3 overtime, you can't retreat into your own zone.
Okay, so you can't go back by center. I agree too, because then it looks like something I used to do in road hockey.
Exactly.
Pick up the ball and zoom all the way back and see where it is and see if I could deke everybody out.
Yeah,
you know what I
exactly.
mean? But you got to go back there to do it. I'm not. That premise is interesting. Because it does happen in overtime. You see, they go right back
Happens
to their
a lot.
goalie. They
Happens
pick it
a
up and
lot.
they don't get. You know what it is? Because that puck control. So they go back there
Possession,
to open up, to get the possession and come back up. And sometimes when they skate it up, it does look good if the passing works.
If it works.
If it works, it looks pretty damn cool. But I'm advocating for 10-minute overtime. I think we're going to get it. Like, screw the players thing. Give the fans what they want. Isn't that what it's all about?
Should be.
You know what I mean? And we're going to find out anyway, because that game last night, very good game for the Leafs. It was tight. It was the way that they put it away late. And that's how they're going to have to play in the playoffs, don't you think?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they were kind of in control of that one from the whole time, though. Wouldn't you say?
You think?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't get to see as much of the game as I wanted to. I'm just saying
They were up like pretty much the whole time.
Yeah, they got control of the game and they took it there. One of the things that I find interesting is your boy got sat last night. He was a healthy scratch.
Justin Hall, yep.
Okay, so they only went with 6 defensemen, right?
I thought they went with 7.
A 7 again?
I thought so.
What is up with this 7 defense garbage? Is Bill Gustafson can come and play in the power play? Is that what it is? Because they traded for him, they want him on the ice for that purpose?
That's probably part of it.
What happens when the playoffs come?
I mean, Tampa Bay won with 7D.
That's true too, isn't it? But the one guy was just a power play specialist. Most
of the time, Luke Shen was the 7th D, though, I thought.
Was
on those
it?
2 teams, yeah.
I can't remember, but anyways, they could win.
My whole thing with 7D is that, like, if you got the guys that can do it, I don't think it's going to be an issue. And then, like, you kind of got the advantage of, like, you can scramble all the lines up, and that's just, like, you kind of just, like, go on, like, who's going, you know?
Okay, so
You don't have to be worried about, like, line 1, line 2, line 3. You could just be like, these guys are going, I can lean on them a little bit more. I don't know. It gives you, strangely enough, gives you a little bit more freedom in some places.
I know where you're going, but I'll look at it this way. If I can get Marner and Matthews and Tavares on the ice more, then I'm all for it. So if the 7 defensemen, because I've noticed that's one thing I've noticed the Leafs have been doing, especially in the Colorado game the other night. You look at the third period, it seemed like Matthews and Marner were out there every 15 seconds.
It's like every other shift.
Every other
basically,
shift
yeah.
they were out there. And I don't mind that, because now, here's what I'm going to say to those guys. They don't want to play that extra 5 minutes of overtime. But I'm telling you what, they like that extra ice time in the third period, because then that, you know what I mean? That's more scoring, that's more points, that's more money. Let's go to the table and talk, get my agent in there and say this. So don't you think there's a bit of a hypocrisy going on here? Like, you want it here, but you don't want it there.
Well, as long as it's in, like, these these confines, you know?
Well, that's what I'm saying. So I'm not agreeing with that. I'm saying here at the house that happens, we're fan friendly first. And I'm saying, let's go overtime 10 minutes and you guys stay out there and play more. You got your Powerade drink. You've got your new
BioSteel now. They're the official sponsor.
Whatever the case may be. But you know what I'm saying? And I've had many arguments about this, like bar talk about that. And it seems that you younger guys kind of go, well, no, it's not what you know. Back in the day, I seen Guy Lafleur stay on the ice for 2 minutes at a time, and he smoked. Okay, so how can you
there's reports of, like, that still some NHL players do have, like, smoke breaks during intermission. So.
Oh, I know that. There's no doubt. They're hockey guys. They're from Canada. They drink beer and smoke cigarettes. Come on. And the Europeans, too. Yep. I hear it's a couple of European guys that are out there, but nobody's saying who it is. There's just a rumor.
Of course not.
So then, like, what, were you afraid to let people know you have a cigarette? I don't know.
Oh, of course they are. They'd get slammed by the media. Are you kidding me? They'd get slammed by us.
You know what? I don't know. Okay, so my favorite story is when Bob Barry took over the Montreal Canadiens at the end of that run back in the 70s and the early 80s, and he barred smoking from the dressing room, which just sounds ludicrous today. Imagine that. We're barring smoking in the dressing room. Well, what, they smoke in the dressing room? But everybody knows the 3 L's. And the 2 trainers would go in there and they'd sit outside the dressing room with 2 trainers blocking the door so the media could take pictures. Be Lafleur, Lambert, and LaRouche. All having
hacking darts.
In between periods. Bob Barry said you couldn't smoke in the dressing room. Now, who's going to tell Guy Lafleur what to do? Now, God bless you, Guy Lafleur. Maybe you're not here now because of those 2 or 3 decks that you were putting back. They say Lafleur used to skate around with a butt in his mouth. Like at practice in the morning, he'd have a butt in his mouth when he's getting ready because he'd get out there early and like to have the skates. Like Lafleur loves skating, but that's not the point. The point is what I'm trying to get back to is these players today, if it's all better, Mr. Milani, didn't you not say it's better? It's better.
Of course.
It's better. Then stay on the ice more. Give me more of what you got. You know what? I even hate this. Like, who came up with this analytic? Oh, what's that stuff that you build up in your bones? So that's why you only have that 45-second shift is maximum. Then you jump off and get another 4 because that acid in your thing, you sit down and you get it loose. I don't know. I'm not a biologist. I just think it's all bullshit, to tell you the truth. In my opinion, get out there and play.
I would love to get a sports science person on here so we can have a debate about that.
There's a lot of things I want to debate about that. There's a couple guys that we're going to get in the near future that we're going to discuss strictly analytics, working out, training regimens, and the whole 9 yards. Because then once you pour this out to me, then I'm going to kick you and say, play more. Why not? Play more hockey, please. But I mean, you brought it up here. It's interesting. I don't like the 7 defensemen. But I do like that line shift, so I'm going to contradict myself. I do like when I seen the third period the other night.
If you have the 70 that can make it work, I mean, it could be really valuable. The problem was before, like in years past when the Leafs tried to play, they just didn't have the personnel to make it work. And you were down a forward because of it, so.
But you know what? I think Keefe's a good coach.
I think he is a good coach.
I think, and he's proven. Like I don't think that he should stay around. There should be a future with this guy for a number of years. The way that he manipulates the game, the way that he uses his personnel in the third period, especially when that game like Colorado the other night, they were trying to go for the win. But look, McKinnon was out there every 10 seconds too.
Oh, sure.
So you know what I'm saying? His line was out there, and what I really liked, what a lot of times it was out there, it was mano to mano. It was number one line against number one line. And, in that last 10 minutes, everybody was going for it. That's why the level of game was so cool. That's why I love hockey. You know what I mean? When you get there, like, look at the speed of that game. By the third period, there was no mucking around. There was no Calgary out there trying to slow it down. There was no left wing lock. These guys were going at it. The big saves, big goalies. I loved it. I thought that's the kind of hockey I want to see. And, of course, the playoffs is coming. That's what we're going to get. Mm-hmm. Oh, by the way, in that game, did you see they were hitting each other?
Yes.
They were actually hitting. I guess they're getting prepared for the
ready for playoffs.
So we got to start hitting people. But as we were saying about playoffs, let's look around at the divisions. What do you think is going to go on? One of the things that I have to back off with, and they lost last night, was I was really in love with Carolina. So if you even listen to the show, I was really giving Carolina. I can't do that anymore, bro. I can't. First of all, they don't have a go-to guy.
No.
They don't have a go-to. They're a solid team.
Very solid.
And I even think that their 6 defensemen are as probably good as a unit as anybody in the league, including Boston. Like, they got 6 serviceable defensemen, and they play solid hockey. But they don't have that. And are they even a top 10 scoring team? I'm not sure.
Let's check that quickly.
I don't even think they're a top, which I don't want to. I don't know. I don't want to bash Carolina because they've had a great season. And they were a preseason pick to win the division and a preseason Final Four team. They still may get there as we speak, but I'm saying right now, Jersey's chasing them down. They'll get
they're low top 10.
Yeah.
So
well, because they got enough course, but I mean,
they have because they got depth, right?
Oh, big time, and they got it's the defense.
Their forward group is deep too. They just don't have that top tier guy.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, they can roll those 4 lines, and they're interchangeable, and they that's why they're damn good. They're top 5 defensively.
Oh, sure.
You know what I mean? And I give them that. But I don't think they're going anywhere in the playoffs.
No, I don't think they got the goalie either that can really steal them a series. Like,
that's your old guy.
I know. I've talked about how it's why he's not my guy now.
Okay. I want to give him some love. He's played some good games.
He has, but I mean, like his save percentage is like just barely over 900 with that team. That's not good.
Okay, you know what? Part of the reason is when we're looking about analytics. Okay, he's let in some goals, but the defense is good enough that Carolina doesn't give up a ton of shots.
Sure.
Okay, so that means if he gives up that one goal and then he got only so many shots,
that's one that Carolina don't have that big guy that can make up for that though, right? So
I don't know. I'm just saying, where do we take analytics with this? Is it save percentage is significant?
I agree.
No doubt. Okay, it is significant, but sometimes the save percentage is based on Carey Price had a great couple years, had a great percentage, but you know what? He was facing too many shots. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I don't want my goalie to face that many shots. So
that was Freddie's problem in Toronto.
What's that?
He was always number 1 in shots against.
Yeah. But he had a better save percentage then too, right?
Yeah, he had a 915 around there. That was a save percentage in Toronto.
And that's okay. And that's solid to have for any goalie.
Agreed.
But now, if you let in a couple goals, but you see less shots, that's naturally the math says your save percentage is going to be a little bit lower. But does that mean that you're playing any worse? No, I don't think so. I just think it's because you see less shots. Like Carey Price, remember those couple of years, even the 2 years ago when we made the run. When we made the run to the finals. You see some of the games, we were giving up 35, 40 shots a night. That's insane. How did we? So we were an anomaly. We were an outlier then because if you looked at all of our analytic type numbers on that Montreal Canadian team, we shouldn't even have made the playoffs. Maybe you know what I mean?
Well, it was because it was a weak Canadian division, right?
Agreed. But then we got there and we went on that roll. But even though the nights like when we beat you guys, some nights what were the shots on goal? You guys were getting 38 shots on goal. We were getting 22 and we were winning in overtime.
There was that, and I was gonna say, but like games 2, 3, and 4 of that series, like the Leafs like rolled over you guys.
Dominated.
The problem was games 5 and 6, the Leafs couldn't close.
That's right.
And we had guys, what was it, Dermott and Galchenyuk, they each like had like bad giveaways in overtime. I'll never forget those.
They shipped him right out of town.
Oh, that was directly because of that.
He's never been seen again. That was the overtime goal, right?
Yeah,
that was the worst giveaway ever.
I can't remember which one was the Suzuki one, if it was the Dermott giveaway or I want to say it was the Galchenyuk one.
I think it was a Galchenyuk one because that was like a highlight film. Don't ever do this. An open ice going the wrong way. And who was back there? Nobody. Yeah. Nobody. You know what I'm saying? And he was shipped out of town immediately, right?
Oh, they didn't re-sign him.
No, and Galchenyuk still got a job, doesn't he? Yeah, he's playing where? He's playing in...
I know he had a contract in Arizona last year.
But he's gone somewhere now. Someone picked him up at the trade deadline. Was it Colorado?
No
maybe?
Way.
Someone picked him up. Check out Galchenyuk because I noticed him on a score sheet the other night, and I said,
"Really?
Well, yeah, I think he's playing."
Oh, he is on Colorado.
But
look at his, listen to his stat line: six games played, no points, -5.
Yeah, I know. But he is playing 4 line. And how many minutes is he playing?
I don't know.
He's 10 minutes. I think he's playing.
Yeah, but I mean, the way he's going, he's probably not going to have a job there soon.
Well, they had some depth problem. The thing about Galchenyuk, and let's give the guy a break, he can skate and shoot.
He's got skill.
Yeah, but what happened to it? Him and who was his other buddy that was in Edmonton? That was the other Russian guy.
Oh, Yakupov.
Where's he?
He's back in Russia.
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
He's the Yakupov. He's the biggest bust of my generation.
There you go. And him and Galchenyuk both came in the league as guys.
Well, they're both on the same junior team too.
Exactly, and not only that, but they had pedigree because of their families. Remember, they're Russian. Their uncles and fathers all played for the national team. So these guys had lineage. So remember Yakupov? He was like he was going to be a generational talent.
Since they're like a can't miss guy.
Yeah, exactly. And then we took Galchenyuk. Because I thought finally we took a big forward. This guy's going to be great.
I remember being so upset because I wanted the Leafs to draft Galchenyuk so badly that time, and I was so upset.
Yeah, and then we got him instead. Now, aren't you glad you didn't draft him? It would have been a waste of a draft choice.
I'm glad. I mean, for as much as we harp on Riley here, I'm glad that we snatched him up that draft.
Oh, for sure. No. In the long run, of course. You know what? Riley's just having an up and down year. I think he's
been having an up and down couple years since the engagement. But
okay.
Maybe I shouldn't say that.
Okay, well, whatever the case may be, he looked good last night. He had a good game last night. He played solid against Colorado.
He did.
I think that sometimes Keefe hides him.
I mean, you kind of have to.
Especially when you're playing at home. All of a sudden, he's not out in the ice when McKinnon's on the ice. You know what I'm saying?
I don't want him there. I'd rather have the shutdown pair like McCabe or those guys.
Okay,
Giordano.
What is your shutdown pair thing? I think Giordano should stay with Liljegren. Is that who that's a combo right now?
Yeah, and then they're playing McCabe with, I think McCabe Shen is a pair that they're trying to get together too now.
That's too clumsy. I think
you think
Brody?
So?
I think Brody's a guy. Was Brody stay with Riley?
I think they're putting Brody with Riley, trying to get that pair going again.
Every game it seems that Riley plays with a different guy.
Well, I mean, Keefe has really been shuffling the deck lately, which I don't have a real problem with. That's my problem before with Keefe was that he was too conservative with his pairs. Like he wouldn't change it until like the last game of the playoffs, and it's like, okay, buddy, like too little, too late.
So, but I'm saying going into the playoffs, you better have your everybody should be lined up. They should have, when you're going to playoffs, you have a defined lineup, so to speak.
I think he's going to do some more experimenting for the next 5 or so games. I think the last 10, he's really going to lock it in. That's my prediction.
Okay, so do you think that they've got enough points that they're going to stay ahead of Tampa Bay?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they got to secure that home.
They have a game in hand and they're up by 3 points. I think they do it. I think they hold on to home ice.
Okay, so now we're talking about Jersey and Carolina. Do you think Jersey's going to catch him?
Yes.
I do too, and I think we talked about that on the previous show where we actually discussed it. We said that it looks like there's a good possibility that Jersey's going to come down because Jersey does have the go-to guys. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? They do. And you know what? They always talk about Jack Hughes and that Pratt guy. They're a little bit smaller, but all their other guys are big.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So they got two little guys, but the rest of the team is big. So they're protected when they're out there, don't you think? I think
100%.
I think Jersey's a great looking team right now. You know what I mean? And they're firing on all cylinders, and so they're peaking going into the playoffs. Is that the expression, so to speak?
Yeah, I mean that's. But the thing about like teams peaking coming to the playoffs and leading to playoff success, I think that's a bit of a misnomer.
You think?
Yeah.
Well,
I've seen teams like go down the stretch, they're the hottest thing ever, and then all of a sudden like
boom.
they get that week off, and then they're done. Then there's teams like they're kind of scrambling, heading down that stretch, and then all of a sudden, they just have that. Whatever, those few days off, the reset, then, they pull off the upset,
I always say this, like, we know this. Better have a couple big defensemen back there.
Oh, of
You
course.
got to have a big defenseman, and you better have some pretty good goaltending. But, but I'm always saying you got to have a go-to guy. Mm-hmm. If you don't have a go-to guy, you're not going to win. And look at the Stanley Cup last few years. Why is Tampa there? They had the go-to guy. What Colorado won last year? They had a go-to guy. Someone's got to break it open when you need the breakout time to play. So I'm saying that Jersey's there. And if Jersey goes there, I think that Jersey and Boston in the conference final would be great.
That would be.
You know what I'm saying? If they happen to go there, because I think what teams can beat Boston? I don't think
That's the big question.
Can anybody beat Boston? Which is making me sick.
I'm not counting out New York yet, though. The Rangers.
Okay, so here we go. I was going to get to the Rangers. The problem with them is, look at the road they got to travel to get there. Like, who says they're going to get out of the first round? They're going to play Carolina or they're going to play Jersey.
I would give them a pretty good chance against Carolina.
Okay, I'll give them. I'll say, okay, at the house that happens.
And then New York, New Jersey. That's gonna be a freaking like
a bloodbath.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm hoping like hell. And you know what? ESPN in America, they're screaming for that.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
Every time it's Devils Rangers, that's a fantastic series.
Okay, well here we go. And that's why I hope they don't play in the first round, and I hope that Jersey gets.
I hope that's round 2 as well.
You know what I mean? Because we're going to have some first round upsets from somewhere, but I don't know who. I want to say while we're talking about first round things, what about the legacy of Crosby and Malkin and not having won in the first round? They've never got past the first round, since Jesus was a baby?
Since they won the Cup.
Since they won the Cup, they have not gotten past the first round. This is Sidney Crosby and Malkin. And Letang.
That's not on them, though. That's bad management. Let's be real.
Oh, no. You're
no,
on that
no,
team.
it is bad
you're
management.
on that team. You're Sidney. You're Sid the Kid. You're Malkin. You got Letang bringing it up for you.
Okay, and your GM keeps throwing you an anchor. Oh, here's Jack Johnson on a 5-year deal. Here's Matheson on a 5-year deal. Here's no goalie.
Oh, okay, but if you're a great player, don't you rise up? Isn't it? You got to win. What if they lose in the first round again this year?
I'm sorry, but Tristan Jarry's lost them some big playoff series.
Agreed. I'm not going to say that, but okay. They're going to start off playing who?
The either whoever wins the Metro. So I'm going to say New Jersey or Boston. It's going to be one of those two teams. They're going to get smacked in the first round. 5 games.
Wow. So that's going to be the legacy
if
of them.
If they play the Devils, maybe they can push it to 6 because the Devils are a little more inexperienced. Actually, if they play Boston, that's probably a sweep.
Oh, yeah. But they may play Boston in the first round, right?
There's a chance.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. What is it going to be?
Mind you, I think they're probably going to line up against the Metro winner.
So in any event, I'm just talking about the legacy of, like, they're going to say it doesn't matter. Sid's got 3 cups.
I think that's unfair.
Really?
Yeah.
I think you got to rise up. So what are you going to do?
He's won 3 cups. He's got 2 finals or 2.
What have you done for me lately?
That's not fair, though. We know that.
I'm just putting it out there because the other call is this: when does McDavid win his Stanley Cup? You see, it's all about.
That's
your
another
legacy.
one. Another one of bad management, though.
Okay, so we're gonna always. Okay, the general manager.
You might have to pull a LeBron, go to another city.
Well, I hope not. I think that Sid should stay in Pittsburgh forever. Him and Malkin, they should.
Well, okay, I'm talking more about McDavid. But
I think he will leave Edmonton one day. I seriously believe. First of all, who wants to live in Edmonton for starters? Okay, let's just go there.
Come on, he's got the heated driveway.
So I don't care. He's a Toronto boy.
It's true.
Okay, so imagine like you grew up in Toronto, now they're making you live in Edmonton. Have you ever been to Edmonton?
I've been to Banff in the summer.
That's amazing. That's a party town.
And that's southern Alberta too, so a little different.
Okay, exactly. So I've been to Edmonton. And you know why I haven't been to Edmonton in 30 years? That's why I haven't been to Edmonton. And I don't want to disrespect the Edmonton people or anything like that. It's just that, that out west flavor is not my style. God bless them all. I think it's a great, great province. Calgary, Alberta, Dawson Creek, all Grand Prairie, do the whole run up there. It's all amazing stuff. I don't want to live there. And if you're a player on the caliber of Connor McDavid, who grew up in the GTA, there's something about living in a city like Toronto, New York, Chicago, LA. You know that mentality. We've grown up, but it's inbred in you, Mr. Milan.
Oh,
you
yeah,
don't even
GTA
know it.
Born and raised.
Is what I'm saying. So you're saying, now you're going to put you in an outpost like Edmonton. You know what I mean? And he's already played there 8 years. And what are Edmonton's prospects for the playoffs? They have moved finally into that third spot.
Yeah, but they're slated to play. If the playoffs start today, they'd be playing LA in the first round, which I do not think bodes well for the Oilers.
That would be a great series, though. So
I think that has the potential to go down like a.
They get whipped?
Yeah, it has that potential.
But I'm saying, here's my point.
Because LA.
They're looking good, and they're coming on strong, coming down the stretch. Okay,
very strong.
They might go past Vegas. You know, I think they will
go past Vegas
because I think they play better defensively. Yep. I think they play better defensively.
I think they just play better as a team. Like they're more structured.
Oh yeah,
LA it seems, or Vegas rather, like
they seem a little scattered at times.
And Jack Eichel really hasn't gotten going. He had a pretty good start to the season, but that was about it.
He's another one of those generations. He's a big boy too, eh?
It's like 6'3" or something.
He doesn't play like I don't know what's wrong with that guy. Maybe Buffalo was good to get rid of him. Maybe his back's never going to be the same. I don't know.
I mean, they got a pretty good deal from Vegas. Peyton Krebs, Alex Tuch,
it worked out. Buffalo got the better end of this deal. It's appearing to be that way. But let's get back to this legacy thing for a second, okay? Now we're going to go to the playoffs, and I'm of the belief you got to have that go-to guy to win. We're talking about Mount Rushmores and Connor McDavid and all of this talk. When does he win a Stanley Cup?
McDavid,
I mean, yeah. When does he win a Stanley Cup? So now if he doesn't win, it's going to be the 9th year. Now it's going to be the check on the wall. When does he win? It's going to be like, you know, when you don't look at here in Toronto, people are screaming for just a series win. And the clock keeps ticking and everybody's nervous. You know when they start playing against Tampa Bay, this city's going to be nervous.
Of course.
Okay, I said it last night, a bunch of Leaf fans in Brampton. And I said, how are you going to feel at the start of the first round? These are hardcores. These guys were out to see a show. They were wearing their St. Patty's Leaf stuff, just like you've seen on the TV.
Sure.
Some of them had the green one, some of them had the white one, but they represented the Leafs at this show last night. It was good. By the way, it was a very good show at Rose Theater in Brampton, the Joshua Tree Classic Albums. If you ever get a chance to see this stuff, go there. But, of course, I showed up in my Montreal Irish gear just because. But I said, okay, we're going to start the playoffs tomorrow, people. What do you say right now? They all stopped. Nobody talked. Everybody froze. And I immediately said, see, until they start playing the playoffs game, look, if you guys are acting like this, what's the team going to act like? What is the legacy? You lose again, you're going to cry again. So I'm just going, it's about winning, bro. It's about winning. So how can Connor McDavid is going to have to win a Stanley Cup win?
I mean, it's hard. It's hard when his team has like, what, 2 or 3 top 4 defensemen on there?
Okay, I agree. They're going to have a little trouble there. So
goaltending's been a big issue with that team. I don't need to remind anyone about that.
And we way back
Stuart Skinner's the starter again.
Oh my
All-star Stuart Skinner.
All-star. Okay, you know what? If you do look at the tapes at House That Happens, we should be successful in saying that we called this. That Toronto made the right move, not giving Campbell that money.
I've said this many times with goalies. You got to spend $6 million around there on your tandem.
On your tandem.
Yeah.
Oh. $6 million combined.
Yeah, maybe closer to. I think the Leafs are spending 7 on their tandem this year, but it's in that ballpark.
What is Murray making anyway? 4 something? He's making more than Samsonov.
Yeah, he is. But
Samsonov's on like if he wins in the playoff round, Toronto's gonna have to pay him or he's leaving town.
Yeah,
because he's unrestricted at the end of the year.
No, he's
right?
restricted.
Oh, he's still restricted.
He still is. Yeah, I think he's got like 2 years of restricted free agency left. Like he's have 2 more years of team controller, I guess you would call it in baseball terms. But
okay, so that's good for Toronto because he's proven that he's going to be the number one, and we said that. I think he's still going to be the number one goalie at the when they start the playoffs. And all these Leaf guys that said last night they did like that. They agree. Like you talk around the city and people are serious about the team. Everyone's saying Samsonov should play game 1.
I mean, he's top 5 in goals against. He's top 5 in save percentage.
Huge record at home.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And like you alluded to earlier, they seem to play a little bit more confidently in front of him.
Way more confident in front of him.
So what happens when they start the playoffs?
3 shutouts on the year.
Okay, so what's Murray going to do? Does he take the bench? Who's your number one? Because
Game 1 of the playoffs,
they act like Murray's still the number one.
I think they're just trying to see if they can get him going.
Yeah, get him going out of town. What's his contract here?
He's got 1 more year left.
He's got 1 more year anyway. So keep the duo and you're going to get there.
Exactly.
You know, and hope, because they got to win a first round. But as we were saying here, it's going to be really hard to beat Boston. I think all the other chatter we have around that is based on teams hoping to make a run, and then they're going to run into Boston eventually. You know what I'm saying, especially there? And I'm just saying, who has the potential to beat them? I think Toronto has the potential to beat them. You know what I mean?
I think Toronto has the potential to make that a series.
Or, you know, you got to say you got to win, like Jersey. Like you said, what if Jersey gets a shot at them? You know, because Jersey plays a little bit quicker than most teams. Like, you know, their skating style. Like that's a team that could give. I don't know. Could they give Boston a trouble? You know what I'm hoping? It's like one of those years, like back in the day when St. Louis had like 1 million points, lost in the first round. Pittsburgh early at the time, like Mario Lemieux's days, had a whole bunch of points, lost in the first round. I'm hoping that happens to Boston. Feverishly. I hope it happens. I hope they get hit by a bus.
This isn't your average President's Trophy winning team though.
No, this is a generational looking. Like, look at their record. Look at both ways. They got the 6 defensemen. They're all big. They score. They got go-to guys, and they got vermin.
Yeah. People are comparing them to the 2002 Red Wings, which I don't. Maybe I need to remind some of our younger listeners, but they won the President's Trophy. And they really dominated all the way to the Stanley Cup.
Oh, wait. There was a question with the 5 Russians, too, right?
This was like when they got Hasek and like Robitaille.
Oh, right.
Those guys.
Shanny was on that team, too, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that was a solid team.
Fedorov, one of his last years with Detroit.
Yeah, and Lindstrom hadn't been hurt yet, right? I'm not Lindstrom, Cosentino. Mm-hmm. He was a big guy there till too, but that's really a sin that. Drinking and driving. Look what happened.
Oh no, this was after that.
Was after that? That team was better. Wasn't Cosentino on that team?
No, he was on the '97 team.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was 2002. What?
That was after the '97 celebration at the whole.
Yeah. And let's have a drunk driver drive drunk people
without a valid license at the time
too. Oh my God. Anyways, we don't get negative about that. God bless the guy. He was a great defenseman in his time. It's interesting that they are comparing to the 2002 team because that was a great hockey team and they dominated from beginning to end. Were they the last? Are they the last team to do both?
08 Red Wings were the last one
to do that. Yeah. Like when
they're the only team to do it in the cap era. Or no, sorry, 2013, the lockout year, Chicago did it.
Oh right,
but I don't know. But that's kind of like that was 2/3 of a season. You know,
okay, is that like the bubble thing in the NBA? Correct? Something went wrong there.
Not quite.
In any event, I'm really thinking that we're going to have some, as usual. We should have a dynamite first round of the playoffs because by the time we're talking next week, we'll be down to what 7 or 8 games left is all it's going to be. And I said, so now it's just going to be jockeying for position.
Yeah, and like really in the East, just like the wild card spots are still kind of up for grabs. I think Pittsburgh's still in there, like I said before, but man, the Islanders are just barely hanging on there. Florida's got 2 games in hand, 3 points back, and they're like breathing down their necks. I don't think Washington's going to come back. Buffalo, I think they had too many bad games.
No, I don't think
they played themselves out.
Yeah.
Ottawa fell back down to earth. Yeah. Detroit's done.
Yeah. Do you think Florida's going to get in?
I think they're going to make it close at the very least.
The thing is, this is going to be a disaster for Florida missing the playoffs.
Oh, because they got no first-round picks.
Yeah, well, not only that, because I'm not saying they went all in, but they kind of
did.
And where are they going to get it? Like, if you make that many moves and you end up not making the playoffs, that's got to be a huge failure.
The one thing they do have on the Islanders, though, is the Islanders don't have Barzal healthy. Mm-hmm. Florida is pretty healthy, from what I gather. Yeah, Patrick Hornquist's on IR, but I don't think he's played a single game this year.
The problem is, like, I just think that Florida, I thought they were going to be better. Like as a whole, like as a team, like I thought they would be one of the ones, like maybe even taking a shot at winning the division. After last year, like you take the next step, and they've taken a big fall down. But you called that earlier in the year. I remember you were saying you didn't believe in Florida at all.
Yep.
And here they are. They're not even going to make the playoffs. I think that's going to be a horrible disaster for the organization. But they still got a chance to get in there. You know what I mean? They're only 3 points back. And what do they got? They got 12 games to go, 14 games to go?
2 games in hand on the Islanders. We're right above them.
But they got to win those games, right?
Yeah. And the Islanders have the tiebreaker as of right now.
78. No, it's going to be close. And I'm like Pittsburgh's not out of the woods either.
They're not, but they have the same amount of games played as Florida with 3 games more or 3 points more, so it's a little bit more of a cushion that they have.
I'm hoping they get in for Sid, and I hope Sid wins in the first
round.
They
will get. There's no way Pittsburgh's missing the playoffs this year. There's no way.
You heard it here first on the House That Happened. He's guaranteeing. And if they miss it, I'd feel bad for Sid if they did, because something seems to happen here in hockey now. People forget. Like, you know, it's like the new thing. What have you done for me lately? Blah, 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 blah. People forget. Like, Sidney Crosby's still a top 10 scoring player. I think he's in the top 10, top 15 or anyway.
He's 12th. But he's on pace for like a 100-point season,
That's
basically.
what I'm saying, yeah. So he's playing, still playing solid hockey. What it has proven to me is that Pittsburgh will always be an outpost of hockey. Always. I don't care what anyone says. If they win the Stanley Cup, like then what happens to the Stanley Cup, everyone forgets about them.
Yep.
So they're not like no dominating hockey market, no dominating whatever, but they have good history. Because you got to figure now they've got 5 cups.
5 cups.
They got 5 cups, 2 with Immune, so they have
3
some,
with the Crosby. Yep.
Yeah, so they have some legacy, but you'd never think they'd have any legacy. Like they talk about Philadelphia more and their legacy, and what is Philadelphia? They haven't won a Stanley Cup in 50 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you know what I'm saying about how people look at markets and stuff like that. Even though
Philadelphia is a bigger town, right?
Agreed, but I mean Pittsburgh is old school too. Just that they say they don't have as much money as it's there.
That's the problem.
You know, I feel for Sid, because I really like legacy players. I like when it's going to go on, and when your time is over, you retire, whatever. But to be playing hockey at this level, he's playing at a very high level still, and he's 35 years old, I believe.
Yep.
So he's just going to ride off into the sunset, just skate out his contract and make.
I think that's what he's going to do. That's kind of Sid's MO. He's very low key, right?
Agreed. But I hope that we see more of him, the dynamite player that he is. Like when I watch a Pittsburgh game, Crosby still stands out. Sure. Malkin still stands out. But they're not getting anything for it. But okay, we'll trade the management. So we're going to go with Mr. Milani here that says if your management's bad, you're going nowhere.
Yep.
You're just losing it. And it's a sin to see that, because we're seeing Florida fall down. Pittsburgh's not going to go anywhere. And I thought the Islanders would make more of a move at this season. I don't think they'd be struggling.
Well, I mean, again, they're down one of their best. Their best young forward is out, so
I think that the parity in the league is going to be when you start the season next year. It's going to be another dogfight.
Of course.
That's just the way that the NHL is built these days. I mean,
look at the Central Division. That's still like way up in the air. Dallas, Minnesota, Colorado. Who's going to take it? It's too close to call right now.
Oh, that's what if Colorado now, after all the trials and tribulations they've had this year, they come down the stretch and they look, like you said, they're only 3 points behind, and I think they got to play Dallas. They got 2 games in hand.
Yep.
That's huge. But that could put them over the top. I'm liking Dallas, though. I'm really liking Dallas. They got a plus minus. Look at that big plus minus at 48 differential. That's huge. So that means they got the back end covered. And I like their defensemen. And
I like their defense. I like their goaltending.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I'm thinking they're a solid team. Like I hope they hold on to it, because suddenly what's going to happen is, and you know this as well as I do, you can have a great season, but suddenly like Carolina, you fall down at the last minute, someone leapfrogs you, and you get knocked out in the first round. Yep. So all that greatness that you've developed for the whole season is bye-bye.
Yep. Like let's say Minnesota catches fire at the end. Dallas has got to play Colorado round 1. There's no guarantee Dallas comes out of that.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. So your whole season, like if you're the front runner this long, them and Carolina both.
Yep.
If they end up dropping down, they could both be out in the first round. Just like that. And we were talking about them as the premier teams in the NHL this year.
Yep.
Like go back to the All-Star break. Who were we impressed with? We were impressed with Dallas. We were impressed with Carolina.
Yep.
We knew Jersey was coming. I got to say that. We took a look around, and we both a little bit on the Jersey bandwagon. I just think they're an exciting team to play, and I think they're one of the teams that could really get Boston to go. But I think Toronto, too. You should be on your Toronto bandwagon about this.
I'm liking where the Leafs are going into the playoffs.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I still say they got to do the tighten up, but they got the personnel.
I agree.
You know what I mean? And they got the size. because you're going up against Boston. Eventually, it's going to get physical.
Oh, sure.
It's going to get.
That's just playoff hockey.
And that's his playoff hockey where it's going to go. So, in any event, we're really we're hoping that the Toronto Maple Leafs win a first-round series. And I want to have full disclosure here. All the people that know me, I am cheering for Toronto. I really am. I get it now. I come in.
He really is.
I'm trying. Come on, guys. I'm going to leave here and I'm going to go out. And if I have a beer here, even people at Schuey say, come on, Cruz. You don't mean that. You don't mean that. Come on. It's good for the city, guys. I want to see them go on for more than one series. It's better when you go to the bar at night and your team is still playing. We haven't had this since 2004.
I know.
2004 from someone sitting here in colors today. Like, I know what I mean. Like, I have a great line. What happened to Montreal Canadiens this year? Too many guys wanted to play on the Live Tour. So they got to go out there and start practicing early. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
That's my excuse, and I'm sticking with it. You know what I mean? Until next year, we come back and see what we can do, and we'll go from there. But in any event, we're going to be keeping a close eye on all things that are hockey going down the stretch into the playoffs.
So, just a couple more notes.
Yes,
so,
sir.
Winnipeg, their
right.
fall continues here.
Oh, my God.
I think Nashville might push them out when all is said and done. Nashville's 4 points back with 3 games in hand.
At the All-Star break, Winnipeg was basically near first place. They were near, like we were saying, the quiet Winnipeg team. Nobody's paying attention to them. Is this why?
I mean, you looked at their roster and it was like, it did look like a little bit of a mirage because they didn't really add anybody. They just added a new coach, Rick Bowness, who I'm not a Rick Bowness guy.
I can't say I'm then one way or the other. I just thought earlier in the year, especially around the All-Star break, you look at their standings, you looked at their lineup, they look like a solid playoff team, perhaps even one that's going to have a first-round home playoff advantage. Now they're struggling to make the playoffs, and like you said, who says they're going to make it? You know what I mean?
I'm not sure they make it at this point.
Oh, you know what I mean? I think them and Calgary are both failures on the Canadian front.
Oh, Calgary's been such a disappointment this year.
Come on. We only
biggest disappointment in the league this season.
Calgary?
Yeah.
I thought it'd be Florida.
I thought Florida was fraudulent from the beginning.
Okay, I'll give that anyway. So you'll go with Calgary. But Calgary is a huge disappointment.
Yeah.
Like where they
should have been a shoo-in for the playoffs.
Exactly. And they're going to be outside looking in, which is really, really bizarre. Because you know what another thing is?
14 overtime losses this year. That's atrocious.
Okay. Well, then next
fucking
year,
atrocious.
If they win those, next year they're in the playoffs. That's how it works,
yeah.
right? It's a fine line. It's a very...
They might be a coach away. We'll see.
Oh, well, the coach is gone. He's
dead man walking.
Yeah, I think so too. Like it's got to go. And you know what? Nothing against him. And you know what? He's getting a little long in the tooth too, isn't he?
Yeah, he's been there a while, right?
Yeah, he's been there.
These old school coaches, they have a shelf life of 5 years max usually. Yeah. Usually closer to 3.
Yeah. Okay. So
Tortorella, that's what they say about him.
Oh yeah, he's about a 3-year.
Yeah.
And he's good there because you get tired of hearing like that old school thing. But where's the balance? Is Keefe the balance? Like that type of coach? Because he's very good. Like if you look at the way he coaches strategically during the course of the game, he seems to know what he's doing that well with his personnel. So you don't wear it out, and you got to be able to coach longer. But is that just the way of sports is? These guys are so many prima donnas. They're better. They're better. They're better. Oh, we don't want to hear the coach anymore.
I mean, it's a lot of it. I think is too like the way these kids are being brought up now, right?
Exactly.
Don't you think?
That's what I'm doing, and it's a Larry Bird thing. Larry Bird, why did you only coach 4 years in the NBA? He goes, because I got sick of my voice after 4 years. You know what I mean? And we went down that road. So you can never say about the coaches.
And he was a decent coach too.
Who was that?
Larry Bird.
He had a great record as a coach, and he's as solid as a GM. And he's out there in an outpost called Indiana, which gets no praise or whatever. And Indiana's fighting to get in the playoff spot. I think this is their down year. They're going to get back. He's made some moves, but we'll get to that in a second. I just want to say before we leave the hockey thing, once again, Toronto, we really want you to win a playoff round this year.
Yes.
And I really hope that you guys have got your ducks lined up for the playoffs so you can beat Tampa Bay, because I know the whole city's scared. As soon as you see Tampa Bay, you're scared too, Mr. Milan. Look at I say that. I'm looking at you, and you got a little
No, come on. Tampa's not as strong as they were the last couple of years.
They said that last year, too. And what happened in
I
the
wasn't
first
saying
game?
that last year.
Well, last year, would you guys beat them first game 5-1?
Something like that.
Yeah, you came right out of the block and you kicked them right in the head. And then you let them off the hook game 2. That's where the series got in trouble, because you had that big win. The whole city was planning the parade. And what happened? You can't. That better not happen this year.
I hope it better not.
Every game you got to come out with that thing because the Leafs always seem to have that fall back.
Especially with games 1 and 2 at home.
That's it.
You got to capture
exactly.
those.
Yeah, you should have had them both. You should have had them last year, but you didn't. You let them off the hook, and here we are. But in any event, we're going to keep
Hold on,
it.
I want to ask you a few more things about the NHL. Okay, so good. I want to ask you about Jordan Binnington's antics.
Okay.
He is, I got to say, he's my favorite clown in the NHL. Like, he is just, I mean that, like.
Okay, so we all see the highlight. You think the refs should let him go?
Oh, I was just going to get to that. They should have let them go. I would have loved to see Marc-Andre and Binnington go.
Oh, it would have been good. It would have been fun. I would like to have seen it. Okay, so now when you were talking about this, is one of the things that I failed to get up on there is that wouldn't have been a stage fight.
No.
Okay?
No.
So I'm saying that's the frontier justice. Let's take care of this clown right now.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what I mean? But I'm saying I don't see, what's his name? I don't see Marchand fighting that much.
No, he's never been a fighter.
Okay, but I mean, he's just as much of a clown. No, not that way. Not as much. Because Binnington's like...
Binnington's the sideshow.
Okay,
you know?
I will agree. But I think they should let him fight too. You know what I mean? If you're gonna push the envelope that hard... Shouldn't you? I'm a frontier justice guy. So, he was pushing it. And it's not this. Everybody knows. Everybody knows about this guy. It's not suddenly he just showed up as a clown. Come on.
Last couple years especially, it's been building.
Okay, so what are you going to do? Someone's got to knock him out? Why? When do the referees let him go then?
I don't know.
Because he can be a little bitch and run back to the bench and start again next game.
The refs might be... there might be a thing that the refs are told, don't let the goalies fight.
Let him go.
I agree, but I'm just saying. I'm just trying to figure out a reason why this is happening, you know?
Back in the day, they would scrap.
Obviously.
You know what I mean? So let it go. That's my theory on it. We had the classic, remember Patrick Roy skating the end of the ice to get after Vernon?
Oh, yeah.
And all that kind of shit. Sometimes if it goes, I don't think those are staged fights. Let's just get it
going
and get it over with. But that's interesting. I'll make a note of that. But, yeah, I think they should let him fight.
Definitely should let him fight.
Okay, we agree with that. The House That Happened says, let him fight.
And speaking of fighting, the QMJHL is going to ban fighting next season.
I think that's wrong.
Why is that?
I'm going to tell you why. Because then it'll turn into European hockey. It gets too dirty. In my opinion, I think that's...
But you're also preventing kids basically from... fighting. That's my thing.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to say then. So they're going to start it there. So you're going to be ingratiated in. So by the time they get to the NHL, then they'll say, well, there's no fighting anyway, so we won't worry about that.
I mean, that's kind of the way it's gone.
Okay, so now, there's another thing we got to talk about where you say, I think you brought it up last week, and this is very important. Don't be jumping in. If your guy takes a clean hit, you don't then you go chase the guy down because you get a clean hit. Let that go. That's where you say the instigator thing. That's where
they got to enforce the instigator rule.
Okay, you got it. Okay, so, and I don't want to be a hypocrite about this because I'm all for if there's going to be a fight, let him go. I believe that because what I think is going to happen is you get that goon out there and he starts doing some shit. Then what happens is who's going to protect your players?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't think they should take fighting out because if you think about in hockey right now.
Well, there's no real goons anymore, though.
No, okay, so that what happened in the Nashville-Tampa Bay game, about 10 days ago? And it ended up being that Donnybrook insanity, right? Okay. That's pretty well been gone out of the NHL. When I was a kid, you'd see that at least twice a month.
Yeah.
Which was ridiculous. Okay? Because then guys were just jumping over the boards, getting into it like slap shot.
70s hockey was its own brand of stupidity.
Oh, yeah, right. But it was fun to watch some nights. Trust me, it was fun. But I was never...
It's too much, though.
Oh, way too much. I was never... And I got sick of fighting then. I used to get sick of it. I used to sit around and go, okay, here we're going to go. Going to wait 10 minutes, clean up all the sticks, clean up all the thing. Guys are still chirping each other. They break away from the refs. It's all that craziness. But I still want fighting in the league because if someone takes a dirty shot at Mike, Lucic takes a shot at Jack Hughes on a dirty shot at Jack Hughes. I'm pissed. So I'm going to say when it gets to the heart of the playoffs, you think it's a little Jack Hughes, and you're going for the. You think they care? No. Someone might take a cheap shot at my guy. I don't want Jack Hughes fighting.
Obviously not.
Okay, and I want him. Who's going to protect him? So what I'm saying is, if someone takes a shot at him and there's no fighting, then they can take another shot at him. Then they can take another shot at him. And then you get the stick work comes up. And then you get the dirty shit in the corner. And then all of a sudden wondering why a guy takes a swing of the game and he's going to get tossed out. Because you know why he got tossed out? Because the referee didn't let him go in the first period. Because that was back in the day. And that was my thing about Boreas Salming. Boreas Salming back in the day, that guy was freaking dirty. Okay, I don't care what anyone says. Bless his soul. He got away with it a long time until he got a skate in the face. Nobody was ever sad about and that was a dirty play. You got a skate in the face, bro. Nobody in the NHL was sad that he took a skate in the face. Why? Because he came from Europe and he had every dirty trick in the book in his back pocket. I don't want that in the NHL. You know what I mean? I want my guys to be able to protect it. You know what I mean? I don't care. I think that's you're going down a slippery slope if you're taking, and that's, of course, it started in Quebec. You know what I mean? What do you think? Do you think they should ban hockey fighting?
I mean, I got problems with, them letting 16, 17-year-olds taking, blows to the head over and over again. I don't think that's good for anybody.
Okay, so I don't think it's going to do you think it's happening that much? Okay, so you're going to get the hitting. The hitting is going to be just as bad. But, okay, for example, we know Serge's nephew.
Yeah.
He's just in the league now. He's one of the youngest guys in the O. He's a pretty big boy for his size, but I don't want a 20-year-old taking a shot at him, which could happen in there. So you're gonna eliminate that. But where do we draw the line?
That's the big question.
Where do we draw the line? So I want to be on the record as saying is I don't like fighting. To be honest with you, I really don't like fighting in hockey. I don't. However, I do believe in frontier justice, and I think if you take away the fighting, that some guys are going to get away with stupid stuff. You know what I mean?
See.
That stick in the corner, that little hack, the two-hander that's a little bit more than a two-hander, and then he goes to the box and gets nothing, and you just two-handed my best player when he's skating by two hands. Like, I hate those. Like, I mean, I'm glad they call that a lot more. You know, those swinging with the sticks? Remember back in the days, even in the 80s and 90s? Like, there was too much, a guy go by. Well, let's give him a little cuff as he's going by.
Yeah.
That's crazy. You know what I mean? I think that stuff's worse. And when they do that stuff, someone should knock the guy out for doing that. However, in the future, we're going to have a couple theme shows at the House That Happens where we're strictly going to say, let's discuss this subject for the day and take it from any angle. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And we will get to that. But I want to be on record as saying I don't want fighting eliminated in the NHL.
Neither do I.
Speaking of fighting, there seems to be some kind of weird managerial fighting going on in the NFL. Wouldn't you say so?
Well, how so?
Why hasn't anybody offered Lamar Jackson a contract?
Oh,
Is this old-fashioned collusion? Can we call it? Is that what it is?
it very well could be.
You can't use that word, though, because we have unions.
Yep.
Okay, here's my take on it. Two things in the NFL that talk about quarterbacks that we may segue into this is, first of all, I'm sick of Aaron Rodgers. I'm sorry we got to bring him up, but we'll get to him in a second.
I mean, we have to bring him up.
100%. And we're going to get that in a minute. Aaron, you're not going to like what I got to say, motherfucker. Excuse my language. Anyways, the bottom line is this. You got to look at it. Lamar Jackson is a great talent.
100%.
2 years ago, 3 years ago?
MVP.
Okay, he's a running quarterback. I hate when they classify him as running quarterback because the guy can throw.
Of course.
Okay, so you had one team give a whoremaster a guaranteed contract, and it screwed things up. No one's going to, how did, Cleveland, that's why everyone hates the owner of Cleveland, the Haslams or whatever they are. Everyone hates these guys.
Oh, sure.
Because of what they did. So
They fucked up the market.
huge. Now, do you think that Lamar is worth $250 guaranteed? No player is $250 guaranteed, but the whoremaster got it. Okay, think about it. But that was a whole different thing because he was a free agent.
Yeah.
So, and everybody, and that just tells you how desperate they are for quarterbacks in the league. Do you think it's collusion?
What?
The Lamar thing?
The Lamar thing? I mean, there's I want to say yes, but I mean, there's an element of it too where it's like Lamar, he hasn't played the last, few games of the season's last 2 seasons. That's a huge red flag, right?
Okay, well, I'm going to say, here's what I think. Not this season, the 2021 season, he was legitimately hurt.
But this season,
I think that when he got hurt and his knee was bothering him and this and that, I think that he just got out. He didn't want to be RG3 the second.
yeah.
Okay? So I just think he sat because he didn't have the money. Like, what if we went out in that playoff game and blew out a knee? Where would he be? So he doesn't have a manager. He doesn't have a lawyer.
Well,
He's
that's
got
his
his
big
mom.
problem. He doesn't have an agent.
So the word around the campfire is the most max money. I heard it was $160 last year, and somehow it got to $130. They wouldn't drop the money, would they?
I mean, I don't think so, but
Okay,
you never know with these NFL guys, right?
Okay, so anyways, if he was guaranteed $130 million last year, why don't we have $130 million this year? Okay, so
I don't get it.
Okay, so now that's guaranteed money. Okay, when you look at that, is guaranteed money that you have gotten. Now, what is he worth and what is the market worth? Joe Burrow is going to be coming around in about another year.
Mm-hmm.
What are they going to pay Joe Burrow?
Oh, he's going to make mad money.
I agree, but that's not my point. My point is, are they colluding? That's what I'm asking.
That's the big question.
Because, now, Carolina made the move where they got the number 1 draft pick from Chicago.
Yes.
So, obviously, they're going to take a quarterback. Who else? Washington needs a quarterback.
Yep.
Okay, the Jets, but we'll get to the Jets, okay?
Well, it looks like they got one lined up.
Okay, yeah, that diva. But anyways, what I'm saying is that what is the threshold in the NFL? And this is what I'm saying. They should have had a stronger union because no contracts are guaranteed. I think that
that's still shocking to me.
What?
It's still shocking to me that there's no guaranteed deals,
Because of the injury factor. That's what I think it is. Oh no, there's a minimum guaranteed. Okay, for example, Detroit just signed Montgomery.
Yep.
3 years, $18 million. And what's guaranteed in that? 12. Okay?
Okay.
All right, it's around 12 is guaranteed. We just had our guy Jamal, who said Detroit disrespected them because he didn't get the money that he wanted. First of all, the running back market has changed. We all know that. So I'm thinking that Montgomery, who is comparable to Jamal on that level of quarterback, even though Jamal broke the record of Barry Sanders, so what? He got a bunch of goal line touches. He had a solid year, way better than we expected. I was hoping we'd re-sign him. If we gave him, he didn't want $18 million. You know what I'm saying, Jamal? You know where the door is, and he signed elsewhere. I forget where he signed, but he's gone now. He got another contract. He said that he got more money than what Detroit would have gotten. Do you guys think you're going to give that running back? He's had 1 year, one decent year. Okay, 1 decent year, and all of a sudden we're supposed to pay him what? No. So that's why we don't have the guaranteed contracts.
Well, also they don't get paid when they're injured too, which is I think that one's weird. He signed with the Saints, by the way.
Yeah, and what did he get?
3 years. It doesn't say on this one.
Undisclosed?
Because
they didn't want to embarrass
I don't know. CBS isn't listed. The site I'm on, CBS just isn't listing.
Okay, so to make a long story short, we gave Montgomery the money that we were going to give Jamal, and he thought he wanted to get more.
Yeah.
So did he get more? They're not even saying yet. So I doubt if they did, which gets back to my original premise. What do you pay Lamar? 130 guaranteed?
Yep.
That's the only one that's getting more. What is Mahomes guaranteed?
Oh.
He's only 160 or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Only.
But in any event, and you just seen 2 guys. And here's another thing. Here's a big thing, that red flag that they're going to look at too. They just gave the diva in Denver, Russell Wilson, how much money? He got 160 guaranteed. Kyler Murray, another running back. They gave him
a small one, nonetheless.
And they gave him 160 guaranteed. So what is Baltimore? I heard they're only offering 130.
I don't know what that's about.
I'm telling you what it's all about. They're an organization, and we say we play this way, and we're not going to break the market. So here's what you do, Lamar. You go out there and see if you can broker a deal for you, and come back to us when it's done. He's been on the thing a week now.
Yep.
Nobody's even touched him. Come on. What's going on here? You know what? Because nobody wants to break the market, because who we got coming? You got Justin Herbert coming. You got Joe Burrow coming, and right after him, you're going to have Trevor Lawrence coming. All these owners, when they have their little owner meetings, the only one goes in that room is the owners.
Yeah.
Not even the commissioner. What's his name? I'm forgetting his name.
Goodell.
Not even Goodell gets in now. Hey, you go get us some coffee. Okay, and people say that sounds harsh. That's his job. Because when the owners go in the room, they say the owners go in the room, no phones, shut the door, and they talk about shit. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. We are the monolith. We are the NFL. We make the rules. There's only 32 of us. Screw everybody else. Is that what's going on?
Maybe. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, it doesn't look like it would be the first time that's happened.
Well, it's all about money, too, because look at all the guys that got dropped. Zeke doesn't. Remember the big thing a few years ago? Dallas got to sign Zeke. Where is he now? You don't have a job. Okay, who else got cut? There's a number of guys that got cut around the league because of the salary cap, which, in a way, I like the balance on so Green Bay can compete against New York.
Sure.
On a market level, okay? So I agree with that. So when you're setting the market, you got to pay 52 guys.
Yep.
Okay, and the salary cap's only going up, what, $4 million? That's what I'm hearing.
It's not a lot.
No, so it's not going to be. You're going to be playing with the same money. So what do you want to do? You want to put like 40% of your or 30% of your cap to one guy? Baltimore's never been that team, and Baltimore's been a fairly successful franchise.
Sure.
Especially in the last 20 years with the hardest cap going. So they're not going to break the market. I predict that Lamar ends up going back to Baltimore, though.
I think so, too.
You know what I mean? And he's going to end up taking. And they got to make decisions soon because they have their first OTAs coming up, right? Because what the other day, that's why they had to make the cut. That's the first day of the new season, right? That's what they say. So so now we're into the 2023 season, and Lamar's going to have to be signed soon. Because what if he goes to another team?
I mean,
what do you do then? Which speaking
like
of,
what after the season or
if like say suddenly like they say that it only takes one team to do it. Like all of a sudden some team's going to say screw it, Washington. We're going to say screw it. Let's go get him and pay him that money and make the market. Okay, you know what I'm saying? So the bottom line is the other extreme is look at Aaron Rodgers. They gave him all that stuff in Green Bay and now he's walking out the door. That guy's a prick.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I've probably lost a lot of respect for Aaron Rodgers over the last couple of years because of whatever. But they gave him everything he wanted last year. Now he's going to New York, and he's already telling New York, and they signed Lazar.
Yep.
He's already trying to tell them what to do. Like, what's going on here? And now he's got what? He's got what still? 80 guaranteed for the next 2 years on his contract because they gave him that money in Green Bay. He's going to take that check to frickin' the Jets, which the Jets are willing to play because the Jets want to be relevant and they're in a big market and they're in New York. But I'm saying this is where the whole thing gets. Lamar's getting screwed and Aaron Rodgers screwed everybody. You know what I mean? That's how I look at it now. Come on. And now who would you rather have right now? Last time I checked, Aaron Rodgers is 37 years old.
Yeah.
Lamar is turning 26, or he'll be 26 during the course of the season. Do you know that he's younger than Joe Burrow?
Lamar?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Because he started in college early and he got out.
Okay.
Burrow got screwed around with the jumping from Ohio State.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right.
And that little stuff
to LSU.
Yeah. So when that screw up went on, but still, you're a 25-year-old quarterback. I'm signing you for big money.
Yeah.
The question is, what is the guarantee? What would you pay Lamar?
Like over how much?
Okay.
Or it's just for like 1 year?
Okay, so no, it's going to be 4 years. You got to pay the guy for 4 years. It's going to be a 4-year deal.
Yeah.
So the going rate for a quarterback is about $40 million. Daniel Jones got what?
Oh my God! Don't even remind me.
Okay, but he only got 2 years though, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, and there's only 60 that they really have to pay. So if he has a shitty season,
Yeah, they could just cut him.
cut him for another $20 million. I think that's a smart contract in a hard cap era. But what else did they have to do? They had to put the tag on.
On Saquon.
Is that going to make him happy?
Probably not.
Okay, so you know what I'm saying? So this franchise tag thing is very, very tricky, don't you think?
Yeah, and it's a way for really the ones that get screwed from this the most are the running backs.
Oh, of course they do. But I'm going to say this much, how I look at it. When you got a franchise tag, I'm going to, like, you got a guy, like, say it's a cornerback or a offensive lineman.
Mm-hmm.
These positions are just as valuable as any other at time. No O-line, no football team. Mm-hmm. So no one's going to ever be happy with a franchise tag. Because that means, and you put the franchise tag on him, and what happens if you get hurt?
Yep.
You're screwed. So now we're going to take a look around and say, so what happened to the Ezekiel Elliott this year? Who's going to pick him up? He's not going to make near the money.
No.
He's not going to make nothing because it's a Todd Gurley syndrome.
Yep. Oh, yeah, exactly.
And where's Gurley now? He's not even in the league.
Nope.
And he signed that thing for LA for 5 years. That was supposed to be for this year too. I know he got a nice guaranteed chunk. I think he got 60 going out the door. So hey, Todd, I hope you're living well on your $60 million.
Yeah, he had those 3-4 years where they just fed him the ball, was a beast, and then
all of a sudden shit happened, and they gave him some money though. He got some good. I think he got about $60 million. Okay, so he's going to be good with that. But my saying is this: Aaron Rodgers, I hope I don't see another Aaron Rodgers. Not a talent-wise. I want to see a talent every year. I want to see quarterbacks of the talent of Aaron Rodgers. I don't want to see those type of personalities anymore. This has turned into a goddamn soap opera. You know what I mean? Like one player, and this is the monolith. That's the NFL. Yeah. This guy's pushing the monolith around. They should bitch slap him. You know what I mean? I feel sorry for Green Bay.
I do too.
You know what I mean? Like, come on. I mean, and that's my division. So that he's gone, I don't give a shit he's gone. Get him out. I'll give him a car. I'll call the Uber. Let's get him out of town. I don't want that. I just don't like the way that it's played out.
Of course.
And you know what? And now we're talking about him. And you can't get on TV talking about Aaron Rodgers. I'm sick of the guy. And you know what? He screwed everybody up. And I hope all the other quarterbacks are wise enough to be like that. Like, did Patrick Mahomes do Kansas City a great favor by doing his contract the way that he did? Because I think he did. And what does that do? He's looking for rings.
Exactly.
You know, he wants more
wants to
rings.
win.
He wants to win. Aaron Rodgers says that he wants to win.
Actions speak louder than words, though, Aaron.
And you blew it twice at home in the cold against weaker teams when you were 13-3. So, you know what? My heart bleeds purple piss for him, too. Okay, you know what I'm saying? About the, you know, what else was going to say about the guy? I think it's going to be an interesting up to the draft time with the trading and stuff going on with people needing things.
Oh, yeah, we're still not done.
No, we got a lot of stuff going on. So can I just say something from full disclosure personally that I want to talk about because I am a disciple of the Detroit Lions.
Yes.
I wear that proudly. You cut me, Lions fall out. Sometimes we have this thing called moral turpitude. Sometimes we have this thing about who's right and who's wrong. John Morant, my favorite player, you're like, where is he sitting right now because of some moral issues? He could lose some money. But here's my thing. Jalen Carter plays for Georgia. He just got arrested for that racing, and the other guy, which is tragic. One of his teammates got killed on the celebration after they won the national championship.
Yeah.
Basically, they were drag racing or whatever it is that's speeding, lost control of the car. He's going to go back and get off. He's got his lawyers. He's lawyered up. He's taken the charges. He's going to go back there and figure out a way to try to be innocent. So people are saying that his draft stock has fallen. If he falls to the Detroit Lions, let's draft a guy.
What position does he play?
Oh, defensive end. He's a beast. He's a beast. He could definitely, he's probably the best player because everybody wants a quarterback.
Yeah.
Okay, everyone wants a quarterback. I'm going to call it right here now on the thing. I think this is going to be the year of the Marcus Mariota, Jameis Winston type quarterbacks. All these guys that they're screaming to draft, I don't think any of them has impressed me.
Well, there's the little guy. Where does he play?
Stroud.
Yeah.
The guy from Ohio State, right?
Yeah, he's a
got
bust
a rocket
waiting to happen.
arm. He's got a rocket arm, no?
Too small.
Kyler Murray, part 2. That's what I'm saying. But someone's going to take him first overall like them, like Carolina moved
I think
up.
Carolina could, that could be the move. There's the guy in Florida. I think he's interesting. Is his game going to translate well to the NFL? Yet to be determined.
Okay, so what you do with him is you draft him now. If he was like, people are going to overreach for these guys. That's what okay.
That's what always happens.
But if you could get this guy and sit him on the bench for 2 years, like Michael Vick, he sat the year with, and that's the formula.
So that's the key. Yeah.
Andy Reid did that. Okay, because you know when they got him, like when they took him from Atlanta, when he got all that shit was going on, there was no there. He brought him there, and he still had Donovan McNabb. But he said, "Vic, you sit here, and you're going to learn." Of course, Vic had to do that because of the dog.
Well,
situation.
even with Mahomes, he sat like a year or two behind what's his name?
Andy Reid.
Yeah,
Alex Smith.
Alex Smith. Thank you.
Okay, so now that's my point. I'm saying like Andy Reid's the old school. Green Bay's a bit like that now because Jordan Love's got to play. He's a first round draft pick that you took, and now his contract's going to be up. And I always say you want to take advantage of that, right? Mm-hmm. How can you take advantage of it? He's only got 2 more years on this deal, so now that's why he's got to go too. So anywhere around the league, Lamar Jackson, he took almost a year before they figured out, okay, Flacco, you got to go. But you know what I mean? You groom the guy, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
Now these guys, you throw them to the wolves, they got killed. Like Trevor Bauer made an excellent comeback from all that Urban Meyer insanity in Jacksonville in his first season.
Trevor Lawrence, yeah. Trevor Bauer. No.
Yeah. Oh, but I want to bring up Trevor Bauer, but that's he's another moral turpitude guy. You know where he's at, right?
He signed across the pond, did he not?
Across the pond. Isn't that sad? Anyways, but people say, Cruz, shut up. Don't even bring that up. But in any event, like Trevor Bauer, Trevor Lawrence survived that insanity, and he's going to be a good quarterback. But basically, he had a crazy groomed year, too. Because, first of all, people don't realize the speed of the NFL is so much faster than college. So, you know, you got to realize, that cornerback got there quicker than I thought. You know what I mean? So my take on the matter is... groom the quarterback. Just don't rush him in because what happened to the career of Marcus Mariota? What happened to the career of
Marcus Mariota's looking for a job.
Jameis Winston just re-signed his contract basically as backup.
Yeah, he's going to be the understudy for Derek Carr this year.
Okay, where's Baker Mayfield? He signed it somewhere.
Tampa.
He signed it in Tampa, right? So,
but they're going to be garbage this year.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Like all these guys, but remember in the draft and the hype and the money.
Yeah, well, Baker, I mean, a lot of people were joking from day one that he was going to be Johnny Manziel 2.0, which he pretty much lived up to that.
Yeah, but he was better than Johnny Manziel.
Oh, that's why he's 2.0.
Right, but the thing about Johnny Manziel, didn't they see him coming? Like, I could not believe when he got drafted that high. That was nuts. Now, you go back.
He wasn't even drafted that high.
Oh, he was still the first round?
Yeah, but not he didn't go top 10. He was 20th or something?
He should have been drafted in the third round, like back in the 70s and 80s. Like when they see a guy like that, we'll pick him in the third round. Then you sit in the bench like the guy from Florida. If it's a smart team, like maybe a Sean Payton now.
Yeah.
He's got Russell Wilson, right? And if he falls into Denver, why wouldn't Denver just draft a guy?
Yeah.
And now he's going to fall down. Like if he's a first rounder, that's another thing about the politics about the CBA of football. Then you're guaranteed this money where you're drafted. So
that's any league that's like that. You're
you think as much in the NHL's like that too?
Yeah. If you're a top 10 pick, you're getting the max and probably some bonuses too.
Okay, so now that's what I'm saying. So if you can get a quarterback, like these guys fall to the second or third round. For example, Purdy on San Francisco. Mm-hmm. Where did they get this guy? This guy was a thrower. If you look at his number in college, he broke some records in his conference. I didn't realize after you see his number, this guy was a thrower.
Yeah.
Big numbers, won his conference, stuff like that. And in any event, so you got to groom the quarterback.
Agreed.
If you don't groom the quarterback, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
In any event, we've been rambling on about a few things. There's a few takes we want to talk about before we end the show, and one of them is the John Morant situation.
Oh yeah, got 8 games. He's got to go into a rehabilitation program.
I just think that he was a crazy kid. Everyone knows on this show that he's my favorite player in the league, bar none, okay? I think that it's a learning experience. I think that everybody should take a look at the Jalen Rose interview with John Morant to see what he's had to say. Was that some of the best damage control you've seen in a while?
Probably.
That's called damage control, is it not? Another thing I wanted, there was so many other things we could talk about for football that was there, but here's another thing.
Yeah, a lot of signings.
Yes, a lot of the signings. We're going to get back there too, but there's a couple other little notes that you made that I think that we should bring up too. It's not just the thing about the franchise tags and the CBA and how things go on and what owners want to do. What about the Edwin Diaz situation?
Oh my God, got hurt. He's going to miss the entire season due to a celebration. This was I
seen it.
Oh my God, what Kendrys Morales. That reminded me of that when he was playing with the Angels.
The same thing. So, anyways, the reason I'm bringing it up is about these are the little side things that happen. The side things that happen in sport where owners are going to say, see, why do we want to have this World Baseball Challenge? We lost Edward Diaz. Last time I checked, that's a serious ball player. That's
one of the best closers in baseball.
That's what I'm saying. And he's gone for the year, so automatically you got to go, oh, gee, how do we replace that?
Yeah, it's a black eye on this whole thing.
Of course it is. You know what I'm saying? So where the owners are going to come in. And that's why, if you want to go full circle on it, Lamar's not getting his money. Part of the reason why they're asking his injury history. So people want to talk about that. So we as sports fans, we want these guys out there doing those extra things. But when something like this happens, what do?
It's a very weird one. Got to ask some tough
I
questions.
don't know. I think that we and the guys get moved around the league. Like different guys here, if you don't like them here, they show up later. You hope they don't get hurt. We bring it on and what have you, because we're going to go into the football thing and the signings a bit more next time. However, there's one more thing that I think we should bring up that you talked about, because people are trying to advance this sport called soccer in North America.
Oh, boy.
And what did they just do?
Oh my God! So
did they stub their toes?
The MLS made a deal with Apple TV.
Oh my!
So most of the games are being broadcast only on Apple TV, which wouldn't be a problem if not for the fact that most of these games are behind a paywall. There are the occasional free game that even if you're not a subscriber, you still get access to, but you still got to download the damn app. But that's another thing. But most of the games, not on TSN. If you're in Canada, if you want to watch your Toronto FC, you got to subscribe to Apple TV.
Wait a second here. First of all, I think that's just one of the...
That's stupid.
Bad marketing.
It feels I think it's bad from both sides, because Apple, it feels like we couldn't get the NFL. What's the next best thing? Well, we couldn't get that either, but we got MLS.
Oh, okay. So wait a second here. MLS is looking for exposure. What's the percentage of TV? What is Apple like? Do we have a number on what percentage of households.
No, it's probably not that high.
No, I think Disney would be more.
Yeah, but with Disney, it's like a lot of their subscriber counts are a little fudged because they give away a lot of free ones.
Oh,
like, as part,
okay.
like if you have like a lot of Rogers packages, you'll get like a year Disney Plus, and they include that.
How come I didn't get that on my Rogers?
I don't know.
I'm gonna have to check it out. I got too many. But what about Prime? You got Prime too.
Prime.
Why didn't they get Prime? Prime ended up getting some football.
Prime got the NFL.
Yeah, they got some things. I heard there was a bidding war between Prime and Apple behind the scenes that we
For the
didn't know
NFL,
about.
yeah.
That's
what I'm saying.
And so
Yeah.
Prime won that. But my thing is this: you want eyeballs. You want eyeballs on
Yeah, I
your.
don't get it.
And if you don't have eyeballs on your sport, why would you go to a network that it's like what?
It feels like the MLS kind of like resting on their laurels. Like it's like, oh, we're like on the verge of getting to 30 teams. We're legit now. We're on Apple. That's what it feels like to me.
Okay, I agreed. So let's just put it this way. I'm a sports junkie. Everybody knows that. When's the last time I watched a full MLS game on TV?
I'm going to guess probably never.
Correct answer is never.
Even when TFC was in the finals?
No, I did watch that, but I didn't come in until halftime. You know what I mean? I just see what they're doing. I'm sorry. I got to be honest with you. It's kind of like when I was trying to watch yesterday some of the women's Final Four because they're trying to give them exposure. So, I got my multi-screen setup. I put on the women's game for a while to try to check it out. After it started getting irritating after a while because I couldn't watch it as opposed to the men.
Yeah.
Like it's just a different game. It's just,
sure.
You know what I mean? And it was the only game in town. Maybe I would watch it, but it's not the only game in town, so you got to earn your stripes, and we go from there. You know what I mean? So in any event, as usual, we got to give Mr. Milani here. If you know anything about our pre-production and things that I'm doing, I got to shout out to you, bro. You've been holding your end of the deal up. What your call on the All-Star game. Please look at upon further review. The Cruz here has been slacking a bit. I will get to that, but I really thought that you did a good job on that.
Thank you.
I think that the exposure that we are getting through our various social media places is great because you've gone to the forefront in that. We just need to get Serge and I to tie our shoes a little bit better. But we want to thank the people that have did their little likes and said their little hellos for the things that we are putting up there, and we've got a lot more to come. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's just a matter of time, like I said.
I'm already working on my next upon further review.
Please check them out. Mr. Milani has been outstanding, and your editing is unbelievable. We're going to do a little promo right after the show here. We brought light and to see what we're going to go on because, like I said, Rome wasn't built in a day.
No, it was not.
But we have built a solid foundation. I want to say thank you to all the people that have approached me, Mr. Milani, to discuss our show. We're just saying, just don't discuss it with me. Come to the sites and yell out that you've been here so that we will know that because we've taken the time to do this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok.
Are we on Twitter?
We're on Twitter.
Oh, gee, I have to get a Twitter account then, right?
Yeah.
Does that make me a twit?
And then also emails. We have an email set up, thehousethathappens@gmail.com.
Cool.
If you got any questions, we'll read them out on the show. Or if you don't want us to read them out, just post them up. I'll maybe answer your question. We'll see. But definitely love to hear from our listeners.
Definitely. And
make yourself known.
Exactly. We will be also something we're going to expand on the show is we will have some guests coming up in the very near future. We will let you know ahead of time because you're usually there. If you take a look.
Zach Benoit slated for next week.
Looking
forward to that.
I'm very much looking forward to that. And I think we're going to have a little bit of a baseball-themed show next week then, aren't we?
We're going to be talking a lot of baseball with Zach.
Yeah, okay, because we're going to open the door.
Of course, I mean hockey, basketball too.
We got to keep it in. We didn't really talk about the NBA as much as we wanted to, and I just want to say I'm still thankful that Fred Van Fleet went off on the referees. It's gone very well around the league with the players. Mm-hmm. Word around the campfires that's had to be said. I hope they all chipped in and helped them pay the fine. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I do think that the Raptors...
Do it quietly because it's probably not
Don't do it loud. Yeah, it's probably not allowed. But ask Michael Irwin about what's allowed and what's not as he's left Dallas. It's another story about things went in the back door.
We know about that.
Yeah, okay. So you know what I'm saying? In any event, we will give you more Raptor talk next time, too, because we do believe the Raptors are going to move up in the playoffs. I do want you to watch Raptor games. Do watch the refereeing because they say Toronto bitches too much. Well, look at the refereeing that they get and I'd be bitching too. You know what I'm saying?
Fair enough.
On that note, my name is Cruz.
And I'm Andrew Milani.
This is The House As Happens, and we are out of here.